Split testing is very important if you want to maximize the sign-up rate from your squeeze page or sign-up form and really build your list quickly. Now, a lot of people are happy to throw up a squeeze page or a sign-up form and just leave it as is, and if they get people signing up, they get people signing up. If they don't, they don't. They don't really care. But the thing is, if you're doing that, you're potentially losing huge amounts of subscribers. Well-targeted squeeze pages can get sort of 50, 60 and even 70% conversion rates. So that means for every 100 people that go to your site, you could end up with as many as 70 of them signing up to your list. Now, if you haven't split test this and you've just put up any old squeeze page, your conversion rate could be as low as 5 or even as high as 10%. So you could end up with a very low sign-up rate, which means you build your list much, much slower. A lot of potential leads, a lot of money, and a lot of potential subscribers are leaving because you haven't optimized your site. It's very, very important to do this. Now, split testing is very, very easy to do. You need to split test different sign-up forms or squeeze pages. So you create 2 squeeze pages, one slightly different from the other. So you might change the headline, you might change the photo, you might change the position of the sign-up form, you might change the free gift that's offered, blah, 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 so on. You change one thing at a time, change each different thing, and then you drive traffic and you see what the result is. So changing more than one component at a time means you don't know what's worked. So if I change the headline, the picture, move the sign-up box, and I add a gift, which one of those 4 has actually resulted in a higher conversion rate? Could be any of them. It might be that one of them actually got the conversion rate up to 70%, but the other 3 changes dragged it back down again. I don't know. So this is why it's very important that you just change one thing at a time. So you compare, your existing one, and then I make a change on it, and I compare, and I drive traffic to both, and I see which works best. And that way I can really determine what is going to work and what's going to boost my conversion rates. And as you start to work this out, so you'll realize that in certain niches there are similarities in what boosts your conversion rates, and it will help you next time you set up a squeeze page or a sign up form to create a much better form out of the box. Rather than having to go through split testing right from the beginning, you've got a good sort of starter for 10 that you can go from. So basically, you change a component, you compare the 2 split pages. If one has a higher conversion rate than the other, you keep that one and discard the other. If the change makes the conversion rate worse, you drop that and you keep the original and make another change. Now, this isn't something that you're going to be able to do in, a day. It takes several weeks and even several months of careful tracking and calculation, which is why a lot of people don't bother doing it. But if you do this, then you can end up with a significant amount of people signing up to your list, much more so than people who are not doing the same thing. As you can see, it's not a complex process to do this, and because it takes a bit of time and a bit of effort, a lot of people don't bother. But the really successful marketers, the marketers that have the high sign-up rates, the marketers that have the bigger earnings online, they're the ones that take the time to do this, because it really does make a big, big difference. And then once you've made one change, you change something else, and it's an iterative process. You keep making the changes. You change one thing, drive traffic, change another thing, drive traffic, and you work out from that what works and what doesn't work. Now, it's very important that you drive pretty much the same amount of traffic for each test. So there's no good having one test with 10 people, next with 100, and the one after with 1,000, because they're not comparable. So you need to say, right, I'm going to have 500 visitors to my site. Let's see what happens. Now, under 100 isn't really statistically significant. Ideally, you want somewhere between 500 and 1,000. Closer to 1,000, the better, because then you've got a much better, a broader sample of people. 100 people isn't really enough for you to base your judgment on. When you've got 1,000, you've got a good proportion of people to the site, and you can go, yeah, I know this has produced this conversion rate. So just keep driving the traffic to it, make the changes, and you'll find that you'll get some good results from it. But remember, this is very, very important. You must not change more than one thing at once. If you try and do that, you try and change too many things, you're going to be unaware as to what has worked and what hasn't worked, which basically means you are not going to be able to improve your conversion rates. By doing this, by taking the time to do this split testing, you are going to be able to maximize your income. You're going to find from this you can really start to increase your sign-ups, and from that you'll be able to increase the size of your list and the amount of money that you make. And ultimately that's why you're building a list, so that you can make money. And through taking the time to do this split testing, you can massively increase the amount of money that you can earn from your list.